Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube, and I use spirit, my intuition, and the tarot to communicate energies to you guys amazing viewers. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so glad to have you guys here and that you found me. And if you are returning, I'm so blessed, so grateful to be doing your reading again. So today's reading will be a little different. I will be creating a new folder in the playlist, and that will be all about you and your healing. So if you're on a healing journey, then my work is dedicated to help you on this journey. I know a lot of you guys come here for your relationship readings, and relationships are good catalysts into holding up mirrors to our traumas, and we evolve from that and we focus on being the best version of ourselves. So for those of you guys here working on self, digging in deep to your spirituality, trying to do shadow work and look at your traumas and want to just become the best version of yourself, then my mission here is to deliver whatever spirit's wanting to communicate with you. And that is always my first and top priority here. Although, like I said, a lot of you guys do come here triggered by a specific relationship or person in your life, and that our path is all different. So however you found me, you're here, and I am blessed that you're here, and I want to be a part of this journey. However small or large I can assist, then that is my duty. So we are looking at you versus you. All right, so I don't know what we'll see. We're holding up sort of a subjective you, your own sort of idea of you, your own perception of you, to an objective view that spirit is wanting to communicate. So this could be quite interesting, all right? And yeah, I'm super excited to see what we see. So we have 3 options to choose from. And if the subjective view does not sound like how you see yourself, then chances are this is not your pile. Now, same rule always applies with energy in my channel. Sometimes our energy is hijacked by people, circumstances going on around us. So if it sounds like energy in your energy field, but it's not you, then this could certainly be insight into energy going on around you, all right? Someone who might be in your energy field. Now, you don't have to engage. You don't have to feed that energy. You don't have to put more wood on that fire. You can certainly go check out another pile, okay? Because I don't know what I'm pulling through here, and my dedication is focusing on you and your own journey, all right? So 3 options. Option number 1, we have this piece of rose quartz. I will hold it up so you guys can see how beautiful it is. Option number 2, we have this raw citrine point. Option number 3, we have this glass bubble paperweight. So sit with the energy. The timestamp will be in the description box and in the pinned comment below. It will take you directly to your pick, and I will see you there. Hello, hello, my beautiful, gorgeous angels. You guys picked the rose quartz ball, all right? And we're looking at you versus you, the subjective you, the you that you're perceiving in your mind, or the you that you're identifying with, and then the objective you, the you that spirit is wanting you to connect with, the you that's going to bring some sort of insight and healing, so more connected to your higher self, okay? So let's take a look at what's pulling through here. Now, like I mentioned in the intro, if you skipped it, sometimes strong energy in our energy field pulls through, which is other people, situations, circumstances going on in our energy. If this does not sound like you and how you see yourself, how you connect with self, then this is not your pile. This could just be someone around you, energy around you. Now, you could listen if you want, but this reading is intended to be all about you and your healing. So do not feed any energy in which is causing you suffering, okay? So Let's take a look. Heart chakra. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. Green ray. Card number 4, the frequency of heart chakra, the green flower of life, supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. Its healing properties harmonize the mind and the body. And we have 58 with stag spirit, take the lead. 58, all right. Or the number 13, it's all about transformation. Surrender to non-action. Now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you. Interesting. Right beside this, take the lead. So we have more feminine energy. And here we have masculine energy. And we have a stag with 2 antlers. And here we have 1 horn, sort of a unicorn energy. Okay. Interesting. We have the scholar, investigation and research. We have the rolled up scroll, an ink pot, a ruler and a triangle, looks like a geometry set. Okay, we have the swan. And we have the rabbit. We have move on. So I'm getting a lot of air energy, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. I'm also getting some water energy as well. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces coming through, and a little bit of Earth, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. So a little bit of everything here. I'm not feeling any fire yet. So we have snake energy, Earth energy, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Stairs, hierarchy, movement, and accessibility. And we have the initiate, number 18 or the number 9. The initiate, acknowledge what you do not know and learn with a beginner's mind so you can become accepted as an authority one day. The scholar, research. Okay. And we have servant, light attribute, delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. Shadow attribute, using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. And we have 34 with the river, or the number 8. And we have growth, beautiful, more green ray energy with the heart chakra. And we have renewal, root chakra. And we have breath with 36, or the number 9 coming through again. We have 9 here with 18, and 9 is all about fruition, completion, and fulfillment. 9 is also the hermit in the tarot, which is Virgo energy, all about self-discovery, and also the moon, which is illusion, and diving in deep in the subconscious, which is doing shadow work, which is what this card is about. So your energy is actually coming through quite strong here, but I will sit with this energy, and then I'll start to channel what this you, this version of you that you're connecting with, is all about here. Before I do, I am being called to read this swan. This oracle pack, always without fail, calls to be read. I don't know why that is. It's just, it does. Swan. All right, so it says soulmates, a special connection with someone else. A swan is a bird revered for its beauty and grace. They are rather rare sight in many parts of the world, and there is something extraordinary about seeing a pair of elegant swans together. Just as swans wait to find the perfect match, knowing they will mate for life. This card is an affirmation that you've found yourself a truly special connection. There is something more profound about the energy between you, where love and deep understanding just seem to flow. Keep in mind this connection may not be romantic. Whoever the person is that comes to mind as you read this description, that's the relationship the swan is pointing to. Perhaps this relationship is a big focus in your life right now, or maybe it needs to be a bigger one. Reach out to this person, spend time in their company, and share what's in your heart. Allow the ease and flow of understanding, love, compassion, and deep nourishing to nourish the soul. It may also be that they need the same energy from you now. Offer up a listening ear and share your deep gratitude for the presence in your life. So I'm beginning to channel what this is here, you guys. So this is all about self and how you connect with self. And I feel like you're on a huge journey here of figuring yourself out, okay? Like doing a lot of shadow work. And I don't know if you were propelled into this by a catalyst in your life. Sometimes it could be near-death experience, could be significant experience in our life, could be being introduced to someone who wakes us up and we're on a spiritual journey of self-discovery, okay? And sometimes it could be self-induced, okay? But I do feel as though you're on this journey here of self-discovery, and so how you're connecting with yourself, I think, is fairly modest. I feel you're fairly humble. I feel like you're in an open energy of learning, okay? And I do feel as though you're learning about unconditional love of self, but I don't feel like you're rejecting of self so much as you're on the journey of what does it mean to connect to self, to love self unconditionally, to be non-judgmental of self, to absolutely understand oneself and one's shadows, and to not get triggered by the same triggers, and not run from things that maybe we've ran from the past, or how we can confront certain things and shadows that might have been scary in the past, and really dive in deep to our emotions and try to control ourselves better than we have in the past. So I feel there's a rebirth here, and the rebirth is this new you that's wanting to emerge. But I feel like you're not sure who this version of you is going to be, which is absolutely perfect, because we're not attached to any sort of expectation of who we need to be. And we recognize that this is the soul's growth, transforming from an old version of self that might have been limited or fixed, or understanding of self could have been limited or fixed. And so this new you that you're welcoming or birthing into the world is someone here who is open to the idea of whatever it is that you turn out to be, and welcome is who you authentically are, although we haven't fully connected to who this is. So I feel like there is some struggle here in when to know what is authentic you, and when to know when maybe there's an egoic you in place, and when to know when you're supposed to sort of take action and when you're supposed to be more in receptive energy. So I feel like there's a balancing act here of trying to figure out what sort of steps you can take in your own life, and what is forced or what is just supposed to happen organically. And so as you go through this, you're figuring this all out. I feel like there's a big part here we still haven't seen in regards to where we're headed, you know, like who we're supposed to really be, and the true authentic self is still out there to be discovered in a way, and how that might integrate into our future, and how we can take that version of self and integrate it into society or life's purpose or calling, and what we want to do with that self. Like, so I feel like maybe you haven't yet invested in your calling, you know, or taken steps towards growing the thing, or investing in that creation that you know is really your true life's purpose, but you do feel as though it's out there. You do sense that you're on something here that's very special, magical, and this journey of self-discovery will lead you there eventually. But I feel like you're right now gathering as much sort of intel out there, and it could be through, you know, YouTube, reading, connecting with like-minded people, being open, gathering as much as you can here, but also self-inquiry. So I don't know necessarily here that you've done enough self-inquiry, because I feel like right now we're doing a lot of external seeking of information, connecting with others, and information that might be soul food to help guide us, steer us, because I feel we're still not quite sure. You know, we're not quite sure what we're supposed to really be doing. And when we say shadow work, like, how do we navigate that? What does it look like? How long does it go on for? Am I doing this right? And all sorts of questions. So I feel like you're fact finding here. And so I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on the, the knowledge part rather than the experiential part of what this journey is about, really connecting with self, and spiritual practice such as, really connecting to our soul and our heart space through meditation and through observing how we engage and interact with others, so we can take note of our catalysts every day. So when other people engage with us, and looking at how we react, would be a flag to us to really sit with our energy and investigate without judgment why we had responded how we did, or why we felt the way we felt, or why we engaged the way we had engaged. So I feel like some of that still hasn't happened, or is still needing to happen here, because we're kind of at the stage of fact finding. Now, I feel like your heart chakra is opening, which is beautiful, because most of society is still in, the lower 3 chakras, and haven't graduated to the 4th density of love consciousness, like really coming from an unconditional love space. And so I feel like you're graduating from the matrix sort of 3rd density energy to this 4th density spiritual being. And I feel like this has required you to leave a lot behind, a lot of relationship potentially, potentially an old workplace, potentially your hometown or family or friends, or certain things in your life are falling away. And I feel like you're still in the process of this. And I feel like some of it might still be cyclical here. So we might be going through repetitive patterns and knowing that there's something greater for us, but not knowing our way out, and still detaching and still trying to sort through what we need to release and really connect with ourselves, so that we're very comfortable with detaching from what no longer serves, and releasing, what is no longer sort of meant for us. And so I feel like this is a lesson within itself, and also brings upon a lot of healing, so I feel like this is kind of where you're at, but I do sense you're on the road to ascension here, and you're humble in this journey, and although I feel like it's probably definitely like a windy sort of road, and sometimes we go backwards before we go forwards, and I feel there is uncertainty in where we're going. We know we're going somewhere ascended, we know we're becoming a better version of self, but we're not sure where it's taking us to. So there could also be a lot of fear in what we have to do in order to go through here. So I feel like we're also connecting to a side of us here with this servant as service to others, which is going from the mindset of service to self, seeing us as separate from others, to unity consciousness, which is how can I be of service to others? How can I give from an open heart space of myself, without any expectation to deliver to others this gift that I can give to the world here, from an open heart space of myself. And so I feel like you're compassionate here. And so I do feel like what speaks to your heart is being of service, giving of self, whatever this might be, rendering services, or rendering your creative talents, whatever it is you're able to produce and give it to the world, being of service to others, I feel is connected to what brings you joy here. But I do feel as though we're still not seeing how we can connect our calling or our future to kind of integrate what makes us happy here into that successfully. And I mean, this journey is always going, right? So whether we ever reach to the top of our ascension, it could be debatable here, but I feel like we're still sort of in the dark, and we're still maybe doing, some shedding and some circles and some detaching and some of that. But I feel there's a magical energy here about you understanding there's something more, and really slowly starting to connect to self here. I feel like there's a lot of forgiveness here on your end to self as well. So if you've had a lot of trauma or pain or suffering, I feel like you've done a lot of reflecting on what that looks like, being able to forgive self or release judgment or sit with that energy without allowing it to weigh you down or impact your current sort of decisions. So if you resonate with that energy, beautiful, beautiful Pal 1, I am so, so glad you're here and that you're part of this community. It is a beautiful energy. I'm so grateful to read for you. Let's see, what is Spirit wanting to show with the you versus you? Now, this is kind of more the objective you, or the you that Spirit's wanting to bring to your attention. Okay, so it's more aligned with your highest self here. Let's see. We have synergy 41, or the number 5. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combination of unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. Oh my goodness, that was a mouthful here. I'm getting a lot of Aquarius energy from that. 4, Badger Spirit, be fearless and bold. Oh my goodness. Be fearless and bold, Badger Spirits. A lot of 4s coming through. 4 is all about structure, foundation, stability, and planning. 4 is also the Emperor, which is this fearless and bold energy. Okay, and the Tarot. It's also Death Reduced, which is about the transformation, the shedding of the old, which was that snake we were seeing. Surrender to divine timing. Sometimes divine timing may differ from your ego's timing. If a goal isn't manifesting fast enough, according to your ego, be patient and trust the universal flow. And we have the Orator, communication and confidence. Look at that. We're getting the Death card again in the Tarot, which is Scorpio energy. And we have the laurel wreath here. It's giving me 6 of Wands energy. And the 6 of Wands I generally read as my ego card, although it is one of victory. It's also one of it being in the public eye. And here we have communication and confidence. Okay. And we have Goose. And geese can be quite territorial, quite aggressive. We have self-doubt. And we have this mirror being held up with the skull. More Scorpio energy. Ace of Cups, all about self-love. And I'm feeling Aquarius from the star here. Self-doubt. And then we have confidence here. Self-care. Ace of Wands energy, all about our passion, inspiration. Clouds are all about confusion here. Self-care is tying back to self-love. We have the Eagle, all about perception. More air energy here. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Eagles, you can see things from a higher perspective, but they also have a great precision in landing what they need to land. Definitely all about ascension. And we have Locket, commitment, loved ones, and partnership. And we have the Maya, 11. 11's a master number. Divine inspiration. It's about synchronicity, and it's also the encouragement to keep going. We see this lizard, which is kind of looking like a chameleon here, able to sort of transform and adapt to environment. Allow past mistakes to help you see through all illusions so you can understand and act upon what you know is real and what is false. Interesting. The Healer, light attributes, passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit, ability to help transform pain into healing. Shadow attributes, taking advantage of those who need help, failing to care for oneself. I was definitely feeling that energy through your subjective view. 21 with the Mystic. Oh my goodness. Or number 3. Beautiful energy with the Healer and the Mystic here. Beautiful, beautiful. And Butterfly again, all about transformation, freedom, liberation. And we have impartiality, getting Libra energy from this. And we have the Great Serpent with the Ouroboros, just giving me that serpent energy we were getting with the Kim Kranz animal Spirit's deck, which is this one here. Except instead of this serpent, we have this, well, it's definitely a serpent, but it's more the bones of a serpent now. Okay. Do serpents have bones? I don't know if they have bones. Sorry, my window's open. You guys might hear that. And we have, which I've never noticed, all the colors of the chakra, the red and orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, indigo. Okay, let me sit with this energy and see what Spirit's wanting you to know. Okay, it's kind of a very simple message coming through here. I feel like you're certainly on the path, okay? Like if you're doubting you are going in any direction that you're supposed to be, or if you're doing circles, or that you're burning time or whatever, like you're not. Like you're certainly on this path, okay? And you're most likely closer than you probably feel. But I feel as though you're so unique. And I mean, we're all really unique, but I feel like what you have to offer is so unique. And it's your energetic signature that no one else can provide to this world, that I feel is very different. And so what you're bringing to this world is something very special and unique that hasn't been introduced to this world ever before, okay? And I do feel it's in the service of healing work and mystic work. So I do feel it is tapping into spirituality, and it is allowing others to heal through their traumas, and however this healing work is done, either through your hands or communication or energy work or whatever it is that you're able to do here. Okay, so I feel like the biggest challenge right now is just with self, because I feel like with self there's probably still more work in regards to how we speak to self, and limiting thoughts we might still carry in self, and doubting that we could pull off certain things, or that we actually do have anything different to provide to this world. So I feel like Spirit is wanting you to have more patience with self, sit with self from a non-judgmental way, understand that to be confident and to take action when we feel we are called to take action is nothing to, you know, shy away from, or to feel like we're arrogant, or that we have something we need to suppress within ourselves. Because I feel like there's an energy here of you maybe watering yourself down or dimming your own light here, you know, and maybe feeling threatened by certain things that might appear like it might challenge us, or it might cause conflict, or it is goes against our belief or what we're trying to accomplish. So we sort of go inwards, or we don't allow ourselves to continue down that path. So I feel like there might be still people around you or energy around you that is threatening your energy, and it's only a threat if we see it as a threat, you know. If we feel like other people are impeding on us, then it is our own perception of how we take that energy in. And so I feel like it's impacting you more than it needs to, and it's also having an effect on you and your output of energy. So no one else's energy around you should dictate how much of yourself should come out or needs to come out. Your true authentic self should be effortlessly flowing. It should not be dictated based on how someone else around you is energetically. And I feel like that's a big one that Spirit is showing here. And I still feel like maybe there is a defense here within yourself of protecting a certain part within you. But I feel like the part you're trying to protect within you is doesn't need any protecting. So I feel like there's still a false understanding here of something within you that needs to fall away, that connects back to confidence. So I feel like maybe if someone gets too close, or if they rub you in a certain way that triggers some sort of understanding within you, then I feel like there's this protective or territorial sort of energy that comes within you, and maybe it's subconscious, or maybe you put that up to sort of guard against. But I feel like it's not helping so much as it's hindering the growth here. And it could be a mechanism here to that you do here in order to maintain confidence, but it's actually stemming from a place of a lack of self-confidence, like self-doubt. And so if we start getting defensive or protective, we're supposed to be asking, is this me being confident? Or is there a better way for me to communicate this? Or is it because I doubt some part of myself here? And so I feel like Spirit is showing that there's everyday catalysts in your world, people, situations that will appear in which you might get assertive or aggressive or protective or defensive. And you're supposed to take these instances as they happen and really peel back the layers and take a look at them, and see why you're engaging the way you're engaging here. And as these keep coming out, you'll see them, you'll see them, and the first few might be very difficult to sort of overcome because they might repeat. But the more we sort of understand without judgment, and understand that we don't need these walls and these barriers or these defense mechanisms, that we can discuss or communicate what we're feeling and thinking differently and get a different outcome, then that sort of behavior tends to go away. And then smaller little bits of our shadow, we start to find and see. But right now I feel this is a part of your shadow self that's coming through. There's also a message here about being patient, because the divine timing is that you're coming into your own as you're supposed to. So there is no rushing this journey, and I know from, experience, we want to get there, we don't like to have to do the work sometimes because it's tedious and long, and we might understand from a conceptual place what needs to happen, but from an actual doing place, experienced place, it takes time. So I think you're supposed to trust in the divine timing without putting a lot of pressure or judgment to how long it takes, or if you're taking too long, or is this working the way it should, and should you be elsewhere right now in your journey, and are you making any progress? And so your high self is saying here that your high self knows exactly when you started this journey of self-discovery and spiritual ascension, and knows exactly how long it takes and exactly what happens when it happens. So it's all pretty planned here, okay? There is nothing here that is going to happen here that your high self isn't already connected to. So to lean into this as it unfolds, to not resist, and to cause more suffering where we don't need to suffer. But sometimes we suffer for a very good reason, because we don't want to take that suffering no more. And it's, again, a catalyst into change. It's a catalyst into change to say, I no longer want to engage this way, feel this way, So I feel there is still some illusion within self, ideas of self here that we might be recognizing as maybe protecting our confidence or as confidence, but it's really a self-doubt here in self. Okay, and so there's also an energy of trusting, like having to trust self, because I feel like there is passion within you, and certain things I feel you will connect to and want to pursue or feel passionate about, but I feel like you either get in your own mind, talk yourself out of it, or start to get very confused about how it will work out. And so it keeps you back. And so I feel like whatever this is that your purpose, your calling, and this journey is about, you're on this very sort of different, unique path, like I said. And I mean, all our journeys are completely different, but I feel like what you're delivering to this world here, like your delivery of something here, is very, very, very different. Like the world has not seen of this, you know, like this healing work is something very different, you know. It's not just your average everyday sort of another healer or another thing here. And so we can start healing, you know, we can start healing by obviously service to others as best we can, but sometimes we really, really need to heal self before we're able to come into full healing of others. And so I feel like this is why it's very important to sit with self energy, so that you can become the best whatever healer here that's going to be providing service to others from a place of full understanding, you know, from full understanding here. I don't know what this impartiality is about here, other than I think it's talking about this healing work and bridging sort of the gap between duality into unity, potentially, or where two people or two groups or two polarized energies can coincide or work together or be at peace or at harmony here without causing conflict, is kind of what I'm getting. So I think you're bringing peace, you know, but you're bringing peace by showing others how to be in peace, or how to engage in peace, how to not engage in duality. And yeah, I feel like you're a bridge here some way with this. So yeah, this is kind of what I have. I feel like Spirit is really wanting you to be confident, you know, to know that when you go after your passions, you will land it. That by having this sort of trust in self, you'll know when you get there, you know, because it's not a wavering sort of I could but not sure, or, you know, a second guessing of self. Once you get to the place where you're completely confident in your ability to attain what you're sort of wanting or have your eye on, you know, and that goes for everything, that you will lock it in. Like, it will be something that is set. So yeah, pile number 1, this is your beautiful reading. I love this reading. I hope this resonated for you. It certainly did resonate, parts of this for me as well, although this does seem like you know, everyone's journey is always about furthering ourselves and tapping into parts of ourselves where we're not really seeing until we are aware and present. And so I feel like it's being very, very aware of everyday sort of catalysts, like I say, in our life that trigger us and make us really sit with that energy and ask a lot of questions about ourselves, turn inwards. Okay, so pile 1, I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Beautiful, gorgeous angels. You guys picked the raw citrine. I love this stone so much. It just makes me so happy. So we're looking at you versus you. All right, and it's coming from the perspective of how you see yourself subjectively, you know, how you connect with yourself, and then what Spirit is wanting to show you in regards to the objective you and closer to your higher self. So maybe something that's going to help you in your healing journey. Okay, so like I said in the intro, if you skipped, if this sounds like someone around you, energy around you, then it's just strong energy around you. You don't have to listen to it, but sometimes it pulls through here with your energy. You can go check out another pile. Okay, I cannot help who comes through here, but my intention is it being all about you. Okay, this healing journey being all about you. So let's take a look. We have Delight with 19, or the number 10. The frequency of delight supports our capacity to create and experience feelings of intense joy and happiness. The more delight we feel, the more delight we evoke in others. Wow. Happy card. 52, or the number 7, Scarab Beetle, Spirit, magic works through you. Wow. And we have surrender to passion. Get out of your head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on the people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. I do see a little bug flying around here. We have the Shepherd, celebration and family. And we have Crab, Cancer energy. And we have Trust. And we have Cobra. So we have fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sag. I'm also feeling some earth here. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. So mix of energy. Cobra. And Broom. New starts, cleansing, and resources. And we have the Witch with 33. 33 is a master number, all about reproduction, creativity, humor, Christ consciousness, about joy and harmony. It says, the Witch, be aware of your reputation, your influence, and your power to create, preserve, or destroy. Powerful women are often misunderstood. Okay, and we have 27 with the Poet, or the number 9. Make your life a work of art, and your art a work of life. See the poetry in the mundane, and you will be rewarded beyond measure. We have Exorcist, light attribute, freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. Shadow attribute, fear of facing your own demons. And we have the King with number 12, or the number 3. 3 is all about growth, relationships, initial success. The King. Okay, and we have Quest with the blue ray, which is throat chakra. And we have the Blue Temple, 54, or the number 9. Okay, lots of blue. Let me tap into this energy, and this is how you're subjectively sort of connecting to self or see yourself. Okay, pile 2. I'm getting a strong energy here of how much other people are a part of your life, you know, and of course other people will always be a part of our life, but I feel like they have heavy influence in your life, you know. This could be friends, family, connection. And so I feel like it is important to you, you know, but I feel like maybe we're learning about what is truly our own sort of desires, and what are our thoughts and passions, and what we want for self, and what we want to go after, and what is other people sort of projecting onto us. And also about learning about healthy boundaries, and what's okay to sort of emotionally share with others, and when it's not, and how to connect to our emotions, and how to connect to others, and how to engage with family and friends, and learn about the different sort of boundaries and relationships. And I feel like you could probably certainly be an empath, and I feel like your energy is really impacted by other people. But I feel like there is a leader here, a quality of you, and I feel you sense it. But I feel it's difficult for you to sort of lean into this sort of king energy, if you will, you know, like making sort of a rule for self, or a law of self, or a boundary for self, and sticking to it and saying, this is sort of my truth, and this is how I need to be engaged with or respected or understood, and then laying that sort of as law, as a rule of engagement when it comes to people dealing with you. Because I feel like other people could certainly take advantage or could impact your energy very easily here. And so I feel like some of this energy you have could be from not trusting yourself fully and making the right sort of decisions here, because maybe you've always been influenced by other people. So you're learning to trust your own sort of guidance, your own navigation system, making your own calls and judgments, going after what you want without second guessing, cleaning out anything that you feel is not serving you or for your highest good, or you no longer really care or resonate with, and saying, this works for me and this doesn't. These groups of people make sense to me and these don't, and this sort of lifestyle fits me and this doesn't, and really sort of trusting your own decisions here. But I feel like we might put a lot of emphasis on not wanting to be judged, or not wanting to let her true authentic self come out, because others might make judgment, pass judgment, or see us as being selfish or weird or strange or misunderstood in some way. And so I feel like there's a dormant power here that I know you feel, that you don't really unleash, that kind of allows other people to sort of guide you. You know, I don't feel like they step on you so much as they influence you more than need be. And so I feel like you are an empath here, and I feel like you see the world through different eyes. Like, I feel like you are very creative, and I feel like you connect differently with things, and your understanding of things might be very different than the people around you. And so when we have this sort of poet's energy, which is this creator energy, you know, we might not want to look too soft or look too weak or be too emotional or too much in this sort of poetic energy, especially if we're surrounded by people who are more tough, you know, and I'm using these words loosely because, as we know, empaths and emotionally deep people are not weak people, right? But society has painted this sort of image that if you cry, you're weak, or if you show emotion, you're weak, or that sort of an energy here. So I feel like you connect emotionally to a lot of things here, and I feel like there is this part of you that knows that there's a side here of self that needs to be tapped into, and that you need to sort of sit with and get comfortable with and welcome. And I don't know that you fully did this, you know, and it's your authentic self that's in there. I feel like you've rejected a part of yourself here. Okay, now this might be hard to I don't know, to see, especially if we've rejected it and it's in our subconscious, but I feel like it's your inner child, and it's a part of you that you might have silenced at a young age because it just became socially not acceptable to have the same desires or wishes or reactions, and so as we grow, we sort of silence that inner child and tuck it away. And sorry for the noise out there. So there's part of your inner child sitting, wanting to be held and understood and acted on, and I feel like you might still be ignoring this. And so therein lies your authenticity, because a part of that inner child knows what really calls to you. So I feel like you've experienced potentially a lot of sort of pain, but I feel like you're really good at blocking things out. Blocking people out if you need to, being guarded of your emotions if you need to. And I feel like instead of allowing ourselves to deeply feel I don't know that you necessarily do. I feel there's a wall potentially around your heart space that is filtering out any sort of emotions from getting to this place. And so if we don't experience fully what that emotion feels like, we don't know that our heart place or heart chakra or heart's energy is walled off or blocked off. But I feel like there's a part of you that copes, you think you cope better, to be stoic, to not allow certain things to impact you, to let things happen and then sort of, let them sort of dissipate on their own without really processing so much, as it's kind of like water off a duck's back. But I do feel as though there's a part of you here that that's calling to come out here, okay? That wants you to hear it and trust in it and believe in it so that you're able to achieve and go after what you're needing to go after here in your own life. But I feel like there's a preoccupation or a focus on, like I said, what others have projected onto you, and it's not allowing you to sort of to be empowered in your own life, or control in your own life, to make things happen in your own life. So you might be burning your wheels. You might be taking pleasure in more superficial type things that burn and turn, or that bring immediate sort of satisfaction, but don't feel very, fulfilling to our soul. But inside, I feel you have a very deep soul here that's thirsty for this stuff, and that can connect with this stuff and understand this stuff. So there's almost like a longing here. So you might be in the process of cleaning out a lot of what doesn't work for you in your life right now, but I feel like you still have people in your life that are not necessarily the best sort of engagement here with you, or at least the way you engage with them. Now, this doesn't mean we have to completely remove the people so much as how we engage with them or how much we let them impact us. And I think that is what's coming through here, is other people are sort of projecting or interjecting into your energy field here, that's causing you to believe certain things about yourself, or not want to be seen in certain ways, or you believe you have to be a certain way in order to create a different result here. So I feel like there is something very magical within you that has not yet emerged. I feel like there's a need to get empowered to create something, and I feel like this has not yet happened. I feel like we potentially still need to go through an experience here that might wake us up to this. And sometimes it is a loss, and sometimes it just is accepting an authentic part of self that we can no longer suppress or deny, that needs to be addressed. And until we do this, we seem to butt up against the same obstacles or walls or situations. So part of, this is kind of showing, you, and I mean, this isn't so much as how you were so seeing self. It could be, but it's kind of your state right now, So let's see what Spirit is wanting to tell you about who you truly are here, with the you versus you, the objective you, and the you that's closer to your higher self. So we have Remembrance 38. The frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul and body, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully with and in this life. I'm going to close my window here because I hear a saw out there. I'll be right back. I'm sorry, pile 2. Let me read that again. It was kind of loud. So 38, remembrance. The frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul and body, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully with and in this life. Or the number 11. 11, the master number. Divine inspiration, synchronicity, and the encouragement to keep going. Dog spirit, be loyal to what you love. card number 19 or the number 10. And we have surrender to the beauty of the natural world. Take a relaxing break and spend time in nature. Replenish yourself by feeling the beauty and the ecstasy there. Beautiful. We have the Queen. Interesting. We had the King in your energy, and now we have the Queen. Determination and sacrifice. Lizard. And begin. Look at that. Very powerful. Aquarius energy. Oyster. You guys had the crab in the other energy. Now you have the oyster. To crustaceans. Water energy coming through Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And we have signpost, indecision, multiplicity, crossroads. And we have the mask with 37 or the number 10, 10 coming out again. 10 is all about completion and the end of a cycle, also about transformation. 10 is also the sun in the tarot, reduced, okay? It's also the Wheel of Fortune in the tarot. The mask, neither you nor anyone else involved in your situation has the clear picture of what has happened, what is happening, and what will happen. We have networker, light attributes, enhances unity through the sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy. Shadow attributes, conveys information only for personal gain, spreads fear and falsehood. And we have the number 47 or 11 again. So now we have 1111. The storm. And we have joy. It's beautiful. We had delight in your energy here. Now we have joy. Absolutely beautiful. Joy. And here we have sparks of light. Look at that. 46. 46. Which is 10 again. So you guys got 3 10s. Okay, let me sit with this energy and see what the Spirit is communicating here. Okay, pile 2. So this is kind of a continuation. What Spirit's wanting you to know, because part of the guidance was coming through here with how you are and what Spirit was sort of suggesting and identifying, and this is kind of still identifying and suggesting. Oh Lord. There is an authentic part of yourself that I feel is wanting to come through here, okay? This is remembering who we are, coming back to self. And the self was there before all of our experiences, okay? And sometimes we put a lot of weight in our experiences and our relationships, and we start to identify and say, this is who we are, because we've experienced it. And so the mind thinks that's the identity, you know? We're that experience, we're that thing that we do, we're that thing that we said, and we're whatever we're living through, but we're just having an experience. But we are the thing that's having the experience. We're not the experience itself. And so I feel like you were really wrapped up in that world right now. The world of other people and clinging on to identity of how we think we need to be or should be. And I feel like there's something here in regards to doing what you love. And I do feel it is connected to being very natural here, okay? It could connect back to nature, animals, plants, something that makes you feel very natural, that doesn't make you feel judged, and it brings out the best in you. But it's an energy of being natural. It's an energy of not being on, you know, not being on the show or on the clock or having to be perceived in a certain way. It's doing what you authentically feel natural doing without caring what anyone else sort of will say or will judge. And I feel like you're going to potentially go through a journey here of having to get there. And sometimes the journey of having to get there seems like a long battle, a battle of going it alone, you know, and feeling starved of affection sometimes, because if other people around us don't agree or approve or understand, we feel like we're not getting appreciation. We might feel like we're sacrificing that connection or that understanding or image in order to pursue something. And so we feel more alone, or we feel like it could be wrong, or that it's not right, or that we're doing something bad, or that we're getting cut off from something. But in reality, it's us having to tweak our own self here, no matter what experience we have in the immediate sort of present energy, in order to get to the authentic self. And so I feel like the people that we need start to come towards us. The people who are there that truly understand and support us, regardless of how we might engage or appear, will change in frequency. We start to engage with other people completely different. We start to understand the true meaning of connection and the authenticity we start to see in other people. And so I feel like you are yet to begin this sort of awakening, this sort of journey, but I feel it's coming for you, because I feel like at a certain point you're going to just not be able to carry on in the same way, you know, pleasing others or doing things that don't really speak to you from a very sort of natural, deep place that is not fulfilling. And so I feel like within you is this beautiful world waiting to be discovered, but I feel like it's blocked off even from self. And it's been years, I feel, of conditioning. And so I feel like you're going to come to sort of a crossroads here where you can make the decision, you know, a decision to maintain in the same sort of energy here and get the same results and keep the same sort of parties around and live a life of inauthenticity, where others are also living an inauthentic life. And so having an understanding that it's kind of like an understanding of playing pretend, you know, that we understand who they are and they understand who we are, but no one really understands the truth, because no one is really being authentic or allowing their natural self to flow. And so we keep the superficial or artificial story going in our life by being artificial ourselves or superficial, or, and I'm not calling you superficial so much as, you know, materialistic and superficial, but when the authentic self doesn't have a voice, the self that knows of something deeper and greater for self, but that we continue down the path of keeping up with some sort of identity, then we know that we're disconnected. And I feel like there is a choice here to be made. And that's when we begin the journey. And that's when our life sort of seems very stormy here. But really the storm is happening in our life when we maintain the inauthenticity. And so I feel like Spirit is saying the storm is going to be there one way or another. But the storm that we need to endure is the one in which we know that it's the storm that will actually pass. You know, when we have the tower and we turn the tower upside down, the upheaval, we can then build on the truth. But the storm that is pretend, or the false storm that goes on in perpetuity, is the one in which we continue to live some sort of lie or facade. There is no end to this storm, and it continues to perpetuate more stormy situations. And so you're being guided towards welcoming the real storm, the one that we know it will pass, where the sun comes out and we then tap into the clear day and the clarity the next day, you know. And I don't feel it's going to be as fast as a day, but however long the storm takes for people to fall away and for our authentic self to sort of come out. But I feel like it is a journey of wandering sometimes alone and feeling like we're not getting the appreciation we want immediately or the validation or recognition. But we eventually get to the other side with a little bit of determination here and feeling like we can sacrifice the false self and the false relationships for the real, the real joy, the natural self. And so I feel like there's something inside of you that's calling to you, that's pulling you towards it, that's inspiring you, that's wanting you to take action. And I feel like when you align yourself with following in that step that has nothing to do with anyone else or what someone else wants from you or of you, I think it just takes this little spark to completely ignite you on this journey. And because it'll be so authentically you that no matter what anyone else says, they can't convince you that it's not, because you'll feel it in your soul. So I feel like there's a spark of something coming through, and I don't know if it's, really connecting with something that calls to you. Like I said, it could be nature, and once we get a taste of what that is, the thing that really speaks to us, for others, like I said, it could be animals, nature, plants, and we get this spark and it goes like a wildfire, I feel here, and it's unstoppable. And then we really tap into the true joy of who we are, and we really don't care about the false self and the false relationships and the identity that we once had and all that. And although the journey sometimes might feel alone and lonely, we know that eventually we find our network of people and our soul tribe and people who are cut from the same cloth, that understand us and that we understand. But I feel spirits are really calling you to remember your authenticity, to really, really sort of see where we're suppressing or denying a part of ourself that's calling to us, that we've not listened to or haven't followed because no one else has been doing it, or how it would appear to someone else if we suddenly started to go down the path of what we wanted for ourselves, and sort of allow any sort of thoughts to not have any impact towards whether we take action or not towards this. All right, pile number 2, this was your reading. I love you so much. I am so glad you're here, and I cannot wait to do your next reading on this journey and see what sort of progress we're making here. All right, and I am here for your support, and I do hope to see you guys again. So much love, so much light. I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Hello, hello, my beautiful, gorgeous angels. You guys picked the clear glass bubbled paperweight, and we're looking at you versus you. And this is all about your healing journey. So we're looking at the subjective you, the you that you sort of connect with and identify with, and what is Spirit wanting you to know in regards to what the objective you really is, and the you that's closer to your higher self, and see what we see here and what we can heal from and understand. So like I mentioned in the beginning, sometimes other energy pulls through. That's energy around us, and it's not you, and it's someone else in your energy field. I cannot help that, okay? If there's strong energy in your energy field and it pulls through, then you don't want to hear from it. Go check out another pile, okay? Because this is meant to be all about you and your healing journey, okay? To focus on self. So use your intuition. What you will see, feel, or hear to determine whether this is your pile, although this should sound like how you sort of connect with self, okay? If this doesn't resonate, then this most likely is not your pile. So we have 13 with coherence. The frequency of coherence supports our ability to harmonize the frequency of the heart with the frequency of the mind for an optimal ability to create the reality that we desire. 13 is the Death card in the tarot, which is all about transformation. That is Scorpio energy. So it is about heart and mind coherence. All right. Love it. 18, number 9, dear spirit, bring a gentle touch. Bring a gentle touch. Surrender to wonder and awe. I don't know, I can't read right now. Surrender to wonder and awe. Open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all of life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen that card, to be honest. We have the Wise One, tradition and order. It's giving me Emperor energy. Also giving me Virgo energy with all this harvest. Emperor is Aries. And then we have the intuitive eye here. The Wise One, tradition and order. We have the Camel. And we have the Snake. Okay, we have Spirit. Look at all these hands. I'm feeling you're probably a doer here. I'm feeling divine masculine energy here. Spirit. Okay, and we have Octopus. Here's the mind again. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy coming through. Also, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy coming through. Okay, and we have Perfume, vanity, deception, and performativity. Okay, and we have the Lover, 23, or the number 5, beautiful butterflies, all about transformation and freedom. And the Lover, it says, with love, all things are possible, for love replaces your confusing doubts and weakening fears with faith in yourself and others. Oh my goodness. Quite powerful. We have Guide, light attribute, represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. Shadow attribute places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. Okay. And we have the Dead End with the number 40 or the number 4. I'm going to put this Lover over here. So we have some space here, the Dead End. And we have Impatience with the blue ray, which is throat chakra. And we have Mysticism, the indigo. So this is crown chakra. And we have Against Nature, number 56 or 11. 11 is not a master number. It's number 11, which is a master number. Yes, divine inspiration, synchronicity, and the encouragement to keep going. And we have calcification, and this is number 64, number 10. And we also have sublimation, 67. Okay, pile number 3. Let me sit with this beautiful energy and see what we see here. Just give me a minute. Pile 3, itchy leg. This is an interesting energy. I am feeling divine masculine energy here. Okay, you don't have to resonate as a male so much as the masculine energy that you carry. And I feel like a very strong energy here, but I feel like there's only so far you can take yourself in the energy that you are in. And I don't know if you understand this or not, or have gained this concept of this yet, but I feel like I'm seeing you as someone who is very capable, you know, and very intelligent and I feel like you know the truth about a lot of things, you know, but I do feel as though knowing the truth about a lot of things in the matrix world and what's and how intellectual we are is one thing, and when we tap into spirituality and mysticism, there's no amount of sort of knowledge we can bring in that will tap us into the divine any quicker, other than experiencing the divine. And so I feel like there's something here about having to experience the divine. And so I do feel as though you're being guided. And I don't know if you have right now a strong faith in religion, or someone in your life that is guiding you, or a calling right now you feel pulled towards, or a certain sort of mirror being held up to you by a relationship of sorts here. But I feel as though you are a born leader and guide, but I feel like you still have not connected to your divinity. And I feel like you might be a type of energy here that at some point might have doubted the mystic, the ethereal. If I don't see it, it sort of doesn't exist. I feel as though you might be really the type of person that needs, you know, factual things sort of in front of you for it to exist. Although when we experience things that we cannot explain, it turns our world sort of upside down. And so I feel like a big one here is talking about love. And so when we truly connect to something we cannot explain, we start to question a lot of how we live our life in other areas that we thought we understood. And so I feel like you have a good understanding of things when it comes to logic and knowledge and intellect. And now it's shifting into this more inner standing of experience through spirituality, because I feel like you've wandered long enough in sort of no man's land of intellect, which brings certain happiness, but not enough to totally satisfy our heart. And so I feel like your heart is opening. So I don't know, again, if you've had a recent experience here that's opened up your heart space to engage differently, to connect differently to spirit, but I feel like you've recognized some sort of end of the line with how you've been engaged in the world, which was sort of from this need to see and egoic sort of energy here, you know, rather than a intuitive sort of connection with the heart and trusting feeling and intuition. I do feel as though you are ascending here, okay? You're ascending, so you're slowly starting to understand certain parts of yourself that you no longer need to hang on to, or that are stuck in your life. You've recognized some of where you're stuck. And I feel like there is an urgency in getting unstuck, because I feel like you are frustrated or have gone too long in that energy and feel sort of not fulfilled in that sort of world, or understand that it will be unfulfilling to a certain point. And so I feel like we might have resisted change, or we might still be resisting change, or we still have a big misunderstanding about what we need to do or what this all entails. And healing is still foreign to us. And so I feel like we still don't fully trust ourselves too much, or understand this sort of spiritual journey, or this where we're being led. And so we're still not sure how to wrap our mind around it. And this causes conflict, because sometimes our mind and our logical brain cannot understand certain mystical concepts. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but when we get stuck there, it causes blocks. And so I feel we resist or we go against some of this, and it gets in the way of our healing. And I feel like you might get a little impatient with the sort of things you're maybe feeling you need to do or want to do, or are aligned with an authentic part of self that feels frustrating, because the integration of foreign things to you doesn't seem right, or is taking too long, or feels like it's not you and you're not quite sure. And I think because we default back to the mind, and we have a habit of using the logical mind and brain to sort of navigate our way out of situations, it's kind of our go-to. And so when we cannot use that to progress any further, we sort of feel lost. But I feel like you've fought this, or have been fighting this. And so you're coming to the end of an understanding here that your logical mind can only get you so far, can only make you accomplish certain things or get to a certain place, and that there needs to be a trust in spirit, an acceptance of allowing ourselves to really dive into the other side that is unexplainable, such as feeling, emotions, love, spirituality, the divine, mysticism, the unexplained stuff here, okay? Magic, because I feel like our world's been very dry and a little dull here. And we can't really reap what we were wanting to reap now, because I feel like you see a greater thing here you're wanting to plant for yourself, or manifest for self, or see around you. You want abundance, and you want to harvest and grow and connect, and in order to do this, I feel like we're needing to really see ourselves from an objective sort of point of view of how we've been and what our default pattern is, and not pass judgment on this, but see it from a different perspective. I feel like there is some ego here in starting from the beginning in this world, because I feel you have been sort of the captain of your ship, or have this intellect about you, that to be sort of a novice here in understanding spirituality seems like fresh to you. You don't want to be naive. You don't want to be sort of tricked or fooled. But again, now we're falling back into ego and mind, thinking that we're going to be tricked or fooled, or that things are out to get us, or that things, are I don't know, like more negative than they are positive here. So I feel like you might start seeing things differently here than you have in the past, for sure. But I feel like we're still one foot in this world of ego, or in this one world of having to logically explain things, and spirit's really sort of trying to guide you. And I find it interesting, both these hands are sort of pointing up to like ascension, to go beyond the body, to go beyond the mind, to be guided by spirit, outside of our norm, to ascend past kind of where we're sitting. And even like this calcification, I feel like we're settling here, we're blocked here in some space. And so this little flame is igniting this sort of decalcification of whatever might be stuck, so that we can dissipate into different energy here. But I feel like we've been wandering sort of this desert energy, like a test of endurance of how long can we go without abundance or sustenance, or without love, or without connection, or without tapping into something greater. And so I feel like the big thing here is balancing the mind and heart, because the mind's been taking the wheel here. And it doesn't mean we just become absent-minded so much as accepting the fact that our mind sometimes can't narrate certain things it cannot comprehend because it goes beyond theory. It goes beyond theology and book knowledge. It's more of an experience and a feeling and an understanding or a knowing here. Okay, so I feel like something's triggered this awakening or this seeing now differently. But I feel like we're still sort of in this lower energy because I feel almost like suffocated here. And I think this is probably why we started to feel this way, because our old way is now suffocating us, or we don't feel we could find a way out, or we're no longer satisfied by, you know, being the smart one, or we can no longer accomplish all the things here that are bringing fulfillment to us. And so we're seeing now the other side of what we want and saying, this will not come from me being intellectual. This will not come from me being logical. These things I want to attain or achieve here in my life are all going to come from me shifting this sort of old energy and where I'm blocked into this new energy. And how do I get there? I have to recognize where I'm at and accept that there's a different me that needs to emerge here. And with patience, I'll have to sort of transition towards what this looks like. So I think there's recognition, but I don't feel you've transitioned into this sort of more, I don't know, this spiritual being so much as maybe you're aware that you can be, and you're aware that it exists, and your understanding of it. So we got to get past the understanding so much as now the experience. Let's take a look at what Spirit is wanting to show you about you. Okay, this will be closer to your higher self and your more authentic self, and see what Spirit's wanting to communicate. Throat chakra, number 5, the frequency of the throat chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self-expression and our sense of peace and balance. 29 or 11. 11 is divine inspiration, synchronicity, and the encouragement to keep going. You guys keep getting this master number. See the bigger picture. That's what we were getting with that sublimation. And also with the throat chakra here was all about the authenticity. Okay. And we have surrender low self-esteem. You deserve success, love, and abundance, which we talked about. Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem. We have the twins, self-protection and dual natures. Although balance again. And we have the house cat. And we have support, 7 cups. And here we have serpent energy again, all about healing and wisdom. We have the infinity sign, and we have the cloud that's raining here. Support, okay. We have lamb, earth energy, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Interesting, because I was getting that sort of same energy from this. Deer, very innocent, very gentle. An owl, the wisdom coming through again, and the knowledge, air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And we have rune stones, ancient wisdom, fate, and divinity. Oh my goodness. Wisdom. You guys must be like brainiacs or something here. Number 1, the shaman. Look at that. Shaman. Wow. Work on healing and empowering yourself if you want to be useful to others on their own journey from suffering to healing. Priest, light attributes, facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. Shadow attributes, violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. You guys got the guide and the priest. That's crazy. Okay, 38. The bridge. 11 again. I don't know how many 11s you guys got now, but that's crazy. Maybe you guys are life path 11. Which is someone who's very spiritual and intuitive, you know, and maybe it conflicts with your logical mind here. And also life path 11, the negative traits is worry and lack of confidence, and we have this self-esteem here. For some of you guys that might resonate. Soulmate, And we got that with the twins here. And we also had the lovers. And we have yellowing. Number 14, or the number 5. 5 is a challenging number because it's all about conflict, loss, but it's also about change and rebuilding. So let me sit here with this energy and see what Spirit's trying to communicate to you guys. Okay, pile 3. I don't know that you're enjoying this so much, you know, like what's going on in your world so much, because I feel like you've always sort of had some control, you know, and I feel like coming from the energy I was feeling here, which is a very intellectual energy, you know what's up because you understand things, and so you're capable of logically explaining things and feeling okay and comfortable in the control and all that. But I feel like your world here is different, okay? And I feel a lot of you guys might have been triggered by a relationship. I can't help but see this with soulmate, lovers, the twins. Certainly your twin flame could be a soulmate, could be somebody here holding up a mirror to you. I see 2 hands here, okay? And I feel like we're walking to the other side of what is not familiar to us. And to get to the other side is very uncomfortable for us. But I feel like you are something here that you're not seeing. You're certainly a guide, a leader here. And with priest, I feel like there is something here that you're able to channel spirit, to be able to heal others through your own sort of experience here. But I feel like you're unhealed. And I feel like you're needing support. And so I feel like you might have been supported by this person, or this person's support has shown you something within self. Some of you guys could be battling addictions. I think there is a feeling disconnected or never really connected with others, not feeling welcomed or feeling not truly connected, you know. And so maybe there was this understanding of tying our autonomy and our freedom with being detached, being avoidant, being sort of inconsistent with our affection or our ability to be reliable or dependable in some way here. But I feel like there's an authentic you here that is that's always been there, that you might have suppressed or that you haven't welcomed. And so I feel like there is a need for you to really sit with yourself and accept yourself and all parts of yourself here, even the self here that has been formed due to traumas and your past experiences, to know that you do deserve connection and love and abundance. But I feel like there is a self-protection here in how you've been engaging with people by either, like I said, avoiding or detaching or being inconsistent with energy as a form of self-protection. I think it's created some sort of polarity here in a relationship. But I feel like old self is needing to fall away. And the only way to make space for new self is to allow the old self to fall away. The self that is addicted or still attached to certain things. And it could be just addicted to our old way of being, our way of controlling, our old way of protecting. But I feel it's caused a lot of confusion in your own life, and I feel it's caused confusion in your relationships. And so I feel like this is a big part of your healing. And so I feel like there's a lot of spiritual growth when we come from a place of innocence, when we come from a place of trust, when we come from a place that we don't know anything about and be very authentic and raw, and are willing to be the student, to learn, and to be very vulnerable with what we are about to learn. Because I feel like you come with a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, a lot of understanding of what you've lived. But I feel like there's also a side of you that needs to be welcomed, and it's the side of you that might still be learning, that still doesn't know when it comes to certain things that you can't sort of, you could read in a book, but you can't really understand them until you experience them so much. So I feel like there is something you can connect to here with this divinity here, and this priest, like that you can channel something here. Okay, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. Like you could certainly channel the divine. You know, you might have dreams, or you might be able to have certain messages come through you that I think are healing to others here. That the more you work on self, the more you're able to bring in this information. But I feel like it could be quite confusing for the intellectual mind to understand when we do divinity, or when we get downloads, because you can't necessarily explain it to the logical mind. So I feel like there's a block here. But I feel like the divine wants to work with you, wants to give you downloads, wants to feed you information. And I feel you are a healer with this shaman, but there's a strong emphasis on having to heal yourself, empower self by overcoming low self-esteem, by overcoming addictions, by overcoming certain things in regards to how we might perceive ourselves and need control or engage with everyday and egoic things, so we can cross over sort of to the other side of liberation. And I feel there is suffering here, and you have suffered, and the longer we stay here, the more we suffer, resisting or fighting or protecting with this self-protecting sort of energy. So I feel like the old self dies out here, and we can no longer sustain it, because in order to get to the other side, we have to see things completely differently. And I feel like you might have lost a little hope in yourself here, you know, but the Spirit is saying to maintain the hope, and to understand that the emotions don't have to be a scary place that's out of control here. That could be in your control, as long as you're able to not resist and accept your emotions as part of you in a way that you're able to feel into. Because I feel like there's some sort of self-protection here, and we go back to the mind rather than the feeling and experiencing. And so we might not realize when we're doing this. But I feel like you're still not seeing potentially how this would benefit you, because you're still coming from a mind space. And so we might be weighing the pros and the cons, you know, and still choosing to maintain a life of inauthenticity, or maintain a life of egoic sort of engagement, rather than release what that is and trust in the divine, and trust that we're guided to be more in a healing energy. That when we fully heal self from things that are keeping us stuck, that we then connect to the divine on a level that allows us to be instrumental in other people's journeys, and channel the divine spiritually here through a clear channel. Because the divine isn't going to channel through us when we're clouded with things here and distortions, because we take the information from the divine and we try to logically make up stories, and it interprets this information completely twisted. But when we're kind of a clean slate, coming from an innocent mind here without distortion, from a humbled place, from a healed place, we can then channel this information and pass it on to others as something that allows there to be healing. I feel there is something very fated about this experience for you. something very fated you're needing to go through here. And I feel like you might have experienced a polar opposite energy here than you're normally experiencing here in order to really hold up a mirror to you. And some of you guys might have psychic abilities in seeing the future. I think some of you guys might be seers. And so this could be quite scary when we start to see these visions, especially when we're logical people. But Spirit is saying, if you haven't, you have the ability to connect to the divine, to see psychically here, and that you have the ability to channel, to fortune tell here, to also do divinity, so tarot reading, runes, whatever tool you use, crystal ball, scrying. I feel like there's something here that you're able to really tap into that's blocked right now, because on the forefront here is your own healing, your own sort of need to deal with how you cope with things. And so I feel like you have a hard time authentically expressing yourself, specifically when it comes to your feelings, expressing true self, because we might have, again, low self-esteem, or underneath it all, we aren't sure that we're deserving of what it is that we're trying to express here. And so we might cope with covering it up or suppressing, or feel very overwhelmed by emotions, and it causes more confusion. So I feel like emotions cause you confusion because we sort of try to make sense of it or go back to our logical mind. And Spirit is saying there's nothing logical about emotions so much as the emotions are just a navigating system. When our thoughts are offline, okay, when they start to deviate from where we're supposed to be, our feelings will tell us if we feel bad. Our thoughts are going in a bad direction. If our thoughts are positive, then we start to feel positive. And so that's our higher self saying we are headed in the right direction. Anytime we feel negative feelings, that means our thoughts are off course. If we start feeling low self-esteem, I'm not deserving of love or abundance or success, or I couldn't get this and that, we start to feel bad about ourselves and make up stories. And so the minute we start to feel bad, that's a sign that we need to stop those thoughts, because they're not true. They're stories that we're narrating to ourselves. So I feel like we might use things to suppress here. So I feel like there's a need for physical healing. There's a need for allowing the authentic self to be expressed. There's a need to identify where we have low self-esteem or self-speak that isn't helping us progress. There's an awareness here of connecting with another on a soul level here that allows us to sort of tie into this love space that drives us to tap into that world that we're not familiar with, because we're coming from a mind intellect place to now a feeling place, which is foreign. But I feel like this is the door opening to the divine, to our gifts, to our psychic ability, to be able to channel, to cross over to the other side here of spirituality, and balance that mind, heart, and spirit coherence we were seeing here. But I feel like you have a gift, and I feel like you can see. You're a seer here, okay? And you also attain ancient wisdom that needs to be shared here with the world. But I don't feel it's coming to you until we shed unhealthy things here that's going on in our world. And so I feel like there's an inner child within you here that is still needing to sort of be seen and welcomed and listened to and expressed. And we might feel like I don't know, we tell ourselves that there's something foolish, or that we cannot, or we feel vulnerable about this side of us. But I feel like this innocent side of ourself, this inner child, is the raw spot that we need to connect with, that we need to allow it to express itself, at least to our own selves, until we get comfortable enough with listening to this self. Because I think this inner child sees the bigger picture and can connect us better with who we are inside, rather than trying to silence or suppress it, or trying to chalk it up to something we can understand better in the mind, to just let it sort of be rather than try to explain it away. Try to experience it rather than try to talk it away or understand it. We don't need to understand it. We just need to listen to it and let it express itself, let it show itself without suppressing it or telling it it's bad or it can't do that or why it's doing what it's doing. Because I think this inner self is really having this profound message for you that's going to really connect you with some part of yourself that needs to be listened to. Because I think a big challenge right now is how we are using self-protection here. And so I feel like we're still lost. And we might think we know where home is, and we might think we have control and when we can come home and how we can engage with home. And this is a form of self-protection here, but really we're the ones suffering here. So pile 3, this is your reading. I love you very much, and I'm so glad you're here, and I hope to help you on this journey as best as I can. I'd love to know if this resonated for you, and I'd love to do your next reading, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye.